live.
All right, cool. Hey, so any interesting places you've eaten lately, Sam?
Actually, last week, or actually last Friday, I had seen this interesting thing come across a Facebook feed for a comedy night at Eureka Heights Brewery, which is a brewery I'd been wanting to go to for a while. Just, it's like one of the few that I hadn't been to. And so anyway, I contacted my buddy Chief that we were in the Army together, and got him out of the house, and we went down to Eureka Heights to we were supposed to listen to comedy,
right?
But I caught him on a day where he was mad at the fucking world.
Nothing was funny, right?
Well, it was just like snowflake this,
right?
You don't know where your freedom came from, that, blah,
right.
blah, blah.
Right.
So we drank like a bunch of like really good beers. We had
right.
like 2 different flights.
So tell me, so this place is where?
It's over off of West 18th, south of 610.
Okay.
Yeah, 610 loop. Yeah.
Right. And it's a beer house. Is it like a do they do their own microbrews?
Yeah, that's a microbrew, because
Okay.
I actually got a chance to talk to one of the guys that works there. So we were, because I like to brew at home, I would ask the guys a little bit about their vessels and things that they do, and he gave like really good information about some of the things that they were working on. So it was like a really good exchange. And Chief is sometimes being an asshole, and then I was like, I need to put some beers in this dude so he'll fucking calm down. So
right.
But I was there mainly for the comedy, because I really wanted, I was like, I know this is not going to be somebody that's appearing at Spellbinders or comedy or any kind of big comedy club. It was just somebody who's trying to cut their teeth,
sure,
in some place that's going to give them an open mic.
So you didn't get to eat food there then?
No, actually we were going to,
Yeah.
but Chief was like, no, there's this German place around here over off of freaking TC Jester.
Right.
And I was like, you're talking about King's Beer House. I know where it's at. He's
Right.
like, well, let's go over there and have some beer, and eat some German food. Which
Right.
I was like, the first thing in my head, I'm like, we're in Texas. I like eating tacos and beer.
Sure.
So, but I was like, okay, because he starts walking down memory lane. So anyway, we were done with the beer, the comedy shit that I came there to listen to. I only got to listen like every 25th word.
Right. Oh, so you were actually in there then?
Yeah, we were there, kind of we were basically across the production floor. It's a place that converted an old like warehouse into a microbrew, which it works really, really well.
Okay.
They had 25-cent video games,
cool.
like old school video games. And that's what people were doing, is hanging out,
having
shooting
a good
the
time.
shit with it, and playing games.
There you go.
So anyway, we were done, and so we went over to King's Beer House, and then as I was driving, I realized this is Friday night. And I'm like, this is going to suck. So
You mean
it's
going to be packed?
Oh,
right?
it's going to be packed.
Yeah.
Now, the one glowing thing about this trip to the King's Beer House was I didn't know that there was a bike shop next door to it.
Oh, okay.
So in my head, I was like, mental note, when my surgeries and shit are all done, I'm going to go buy, I'm getting an after surgery gift.
Right.
So anyway, we go inside to King's Beer House, because I'd been there with my buddy Henry, and had to get on a list, which was only like 10 minutes long. But Chief wanted to go sit at the bar, and there was no place at the bar. And then he tried to sit in some place, because the way this place was divided is like the old Oktoberfest, picnic table side. Then you have like the normal restaurant side, which would be like a table and 2 or 4 chairs or whatever, and then you have the bar. So he tried to like basically jump ahead of the line, and I'm like, no, we're not going to do that.
Right.
So we get on the list, wait 10 minutes, and I guess the manager or something came over and saw how kind of grumpy Chief was, and came over and just kind of appeased him in a way, just by just shooting the shit with him for a little while. So anyway, we got a chance to eat, and he was happy, and
so what did y'all have?
We drank beer.
So you had German food. So
we had schnitzel.
Okay.
And
now, was it good?
Oh yeah,
Really
yeah.
good. So you'd recommend it then?
Yeah. To me, okay, it's like German food's good.
Mm-hmm.
How I equate German foods is they're essentially the Irish, only they know how to cook.
Okay.
That's how I equate it.
Got it.
It's not like it's not like eating French cuisine or anything like that.
Well, it's heavily potatoes and meat. And
yes,
sausage
yeah,
and
but
stuff
it's
like
but
that,
it's very, very good,
and it's good for beer drinking.
Really
for sure.
good.
Yeah.
And so what was funny is they serve beers in either half liter or liter.
Oh, okay.
So I already knew going in that the liter is quite large. Remember that when we went over to the Klaus Brewery?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Okay. So the beers that we had there were more the size that I like to have.
Uh-huh.
When I went and got that humongous mug, I was going to be sitting there for a while because it was going to take me a while to drink a liter of beer.
Right.
So anyway, Chief had his beer, and he basically prefaced it by going, I've reached this age where I'm okay walking away from a half empty beer. And I'm like, whatever. Whatever.
That's funny.
Quitter.
Well, I'm kind of that guy too, though. So to me, flights work perfect.
Yeah.
Because I get small tastes of many different beers.
Yeah.
I used to be a quantity guy. I'm not anymore. I'm more into the craft. I want to taste different things. And I would probably look at food pairings as well. So that's probably what I would look at. I don't know. So any other food places you were at?
I was pretty tame this week. So that's
Right.
really the only place I really ventured out to.
Well, I went to the lake this weekend with a good friend. And that always means that I'm going to do the cooking.
Right.
Okay. And it's one of those chances where I get to go do fun stuff. And so I ended up making a bunch of scratch food, which was really good. But when we came home, we got the wives together last night, and we went and had a Valentine's dinner last night instead of doing it today.
Okay. Which is smart.
Yeah, we felt like the crowds would have just been too much to deal with. So we ended up going to a place over here called Blue Oyster and Seafood.
Yeah, I've been by there.
Over
I've never been there before. I've been wanting to go.
And it's not bad. It's funny. I kind of have a dislike relationship with it, and because you know me, I'm not a food snob, but I am
very harsh.
I'm pretty harsh on certain things, and so when I go to a restaurant, I'm looking for consistency, regardless of what Bradley Cooper in the movie Burnt says that consistency is the chef of a death of a chef. That's only if you're in some fancy artsy creative place.
I understand that.
I look for consistency.
Right.
I look for the same experience. That's why I go
particularly
back.
if you're a consumer.
Yeah, for sure. So we go there, and in our typical fashion, we start with an appetizer.
Right.
A campanchana. So you know what that is? Campanchana.
Campanchana.
Seafood campanchana. Okay. What basically is chunks of avocado and shrimp inside salsa, basically, or seafood cocktail.
I think when you because that just brings up ceviche to me. But.
Yeah, okay, so it's like ceviche but it's all cooked fish and it's full of vegetables.
All right.
And so you eat it on chips. So it's basically salsa with seafood in it, okay?
Okay, all right.
So when we got it at the table, the flavor was fantastic.
Basically, it's seafood carne, what's it? The cheese with meat in it.
Queso?
Yeah.
Yeah, sort of. I guess it'd be the tomato
queso.
version. Yeah, the version of that. So when we got to the table, the flavor was really good, but it was all runny. You couldn't hardly eat it without spilling it all over yourself.
Right.
And there were no chunks in it. There was probably 3 shrimp in it, maybe a handful of avocado. But when we had it before, it was thick and chunky, and it was edible, what I would call edible.
Which goes to the consistency.
Yeah,
part.
so with this time we got it, it was not good at all. And I don't ever complain in a restaurant. What I do is I either don't eat it or I suffer through as much as I want to, then I come home and write about it. Okay? I will post you up and basically say, hey, look, this is my experience in your restaurant. I don't ever send food back because...
Is your deal about they'll probably spit in my next?
You never know.
Okay.
You never know, and I don't want to take that chance because I know how some kitchen staff are. I feel like for me, if the food doesn't come out consistent and look right,
right,
that guy's not happy at his job.
Okay.
Why would I antagonize him by pointing out the obvious?
That's
okay,
one psychological.
yeah.
approach.
So why would I invite you to do something worse to my experience?
Right.
Okay. So they did have wings for 75 cents a wing.
Wings like chicken wings?
Yeah, they had buffalo wings, chicken wings, and they were good. They were actually really good, so we enjoyed those. But my friend and I, so the wives, one of them had salmon and vegetables, which it was okay. And my wife had a baked potato. She was just not in the mood for a big meal, so she got a baked potato and she had some wings and that seafood.
It's
so I
almost
ordered
like a phone it in type
yeah, pretty
meal.
much, because she wasn't really hungry. She didn't eat big at night anyway. And so I ordered, my friend and I both ordered blackened mahi-mahi.
I like my.
I do too. Well, I thought I did. And then instead of the vegetables and the rice, I just got a salad with it. Okay. So when it came out, so when you order fish, it was seasoned pretty good. It was cooked pretty good, but the fillets were so disproportionate in size. It wasn't even subtle. It was very obvious.
Okay.
Now I know, before everybody wants to say, hey, well, they do that by weight. When you put them side by side, you can clearly tell that there was a difference in the size, but not the width or the thickness. Okay.
But could you see a difference in maybe the weight?
Not enough. No.
Okay.
No. I
Oh
couldn't.
yeah. Because
Yeah.
we did talk about this
Right.
earlier.
Yeah. The size and the length. So when you're a chef, okay, and you're making seafood and you're charging whatever $20, $25, $30 a plate, whatever it is for that, and you have the plates when you're setting your order to go out, when your expediter's getting ready or your waiter's getting ready to take them out, and you see them sitting on the line. When you see one gigantic hunk of meat in one plate and in some dismal,
and it doesn't speak to you.
it doesn't speak to you, it shouldn't go out. It really shouldn't. If that was my name on that restaurant, that would have never happened. Okay, that wouldn't have went out like that. So anyway, you get the bill, and say you pay $60. Oh, and we had cheesecake for dessert, or they have like key lime pie, they call it. And so the first time we got it, it had a nice garnish of lime and some drizzle on it.
So was it not key lime pie?
Yeah, it was key lime pie, but it didn't come in. It didn't come out this time like it did the first time.
Okay.
Again, it looked completely different. It looked like it was mailed in, and the place wasn't crowded. I can tell you right now, there was probably only 10 people in the place, and it can hold 60. Okay. So there's that. To me, I'm looking at all this going, okay, look. My slow time would be my perfect plates going out every time.
Yeah.
If I was jamming busy, I would be pretty damn near perfect.
I want these people to leave with
yes,
an experience.
Exactly.
Okay.
So it wasn't really, and once you pay your bill, like I said, and you pay over $60, you're like, shit, this was terrible. It wasn't enjoyable at all. I enjoyed the company immensely because they're good friends, and I didn't complain about the meal because I don't want to do that up front of friends. But my wife and I, we got up this morning and we were talking about the meal that we had yesterday. That's how bad it was. It carried overnight into this morning. And we're sitting there going, man, this is terrible. I mean, I paid $60 for something I can make in my kitchen for less than $15 for two.
I guess for me, the only difference I can see myself doing is instead of basically settling for what they gave me. Mm-hmm. I might have hung on to what was there, whatever it was I was dissatisfied with.
Right.
I'll hold judgment till later.
Yeah.
Then at the end, when they get the check, I'll ask for the. If it
was us, if it was you and I, you've seen me do that before.
Because you're still in front of your friends that you don't want to.
And I don't want to ruin their, because they like the place. We really are kind of on the
He
fence
may
with
judge how I cook when he comes to my house.
No, I don't care, because honestly, I'm up for that challenge.
All right.
I feel like I'm pretty competent at it.
Well, I think it'd be funny if somebody invites you over for dinner and at the end you're going to say, this actually could have been better.
Well, it could have. Sure could have. Here, show me how to do it. So there's another place we went to not too long ago, and it was off of 2920. It was a new place.
Uh-huh.
And they have this barbecued meatloaf.
Barbecued meatloaf?
Yeah, basically you take a meatloaf and you stick it in the smoker and you smoke it up, right?
Okay. Right.
So a friend of mine, we were with two other couples, and two of us happened to order the same thing. So here we go again. I'm looking at similar meals on similar plates, and again, two different sized pieces of meatloaf come out the table.
I don't think you know what. I don't think you understand what consistency means.
So as a chef, I mean, and this is just one chef talking to other people that might happen to enjoy cooking. When you put food on a plate, I mean, anybody that's ever eaten my food will tell you, or around me, is even a sandwich I make look good. Because you eat with your eyes first, right?
Right.
When you see something that's completely spatially not correct, it just ruins the meal for you. Anyway, I hate to sound like a whiny bitch about it.
Now, what was the character in the bride, Princess Bride, Inigo Montoya?
Montoya.
Yeah,
I do not think you know what that means.
Well, I would say that you're that for food.
Yeah,
It's and not in a bad way, but the thing is because it's in a consumer-driven business.
Well, 30 years in the industry and and working as a consultant, you kind of pick up this eye for detail and attention.
Or there's things that you just can't let go.
Right. And the thing that kills me more than anything is somebody that will tout themselves as one thing, but then you look at their work and it's like, dude, you didn't put your heart into that.
Right.
I'm not saying every plate should slay you, but you should at least strive for some eye of detail. But all this food talk we were just laying some groundwork for this new thing that we just stumbled across on social media yesterday or day before yesterday.
Uh-huh.
There's a new dating app out there because you have Tinder, Plenty of Fish.
You kind of you were kind of telling me a little bit about this.
So there's a new dating app now. Instead of having profile pictures, because everybody complains about profile pictures.
Right.
It's not always as advertised. Okay.
Catfishing.
Yeah.
Catfishing.
So you get some catfishing going on out there. So this guy come up with this idea. He said, I'll tell you what. Instead of putting profile pictures of yourself, take a snapshot of your refrigerator contents and post it on there, and then you'll find your dates based upon the contents of your prospective date's refrigerator's interior.
So if I'm not happy with you, when I get there, you can at least make me a sandwich.
So we got to talking. So we got to talking about this, and we're like, okay, so what criteria? What would I look for in a refrigerator if I was picking a date? Okay,
that's an interesting question.
So my question to you is going to be, what kind of food would a girl that you would go out with have in her fridge?
Okay, here's one sign. I would say leftovers.
Okay,
because leftovers tells me. Now, I mean leftovers that like somebody has in some like Rubbermaid container.
Okay, not a styrofoam container that says Freddy's
because
Fish Barn.
The Rubbermaid container kind of sort of tells me that they cooked something there at home. So that gives me some element of cooking. Yeah.
That's fair. I like that.
Because that's what I would tell you that you would look at, that you would find in mine.
Right.
Is that I do all of the cooking at home.
Right.
Now there are days that we go out to dinner, but you can clearly tell that from something that I cook. And it kind of, what's funny is it kind of, because I cook for my parents, my father is very much the, we had this yesterday, and I'm always
he's
like,
opposed to
my deal is
hey,
you feel free to join me in the kitchen cooking any day if you want to eat something different. But as far as leftovers go, based on my current situation right now, I don't cook every day only because it's just one extra thing that I don't need to do if I have leftover food, and I hate waste. I despise it. So.
No, I get it. I guess for me, I'd look for ingredients. I'm not looking for maybe food.
Okay.
I would be looking for like.
That was the other thing.
Produce and ingredients, that type thing. They look to me. You can go open my refrigerator. I clean it out every week. I don't keep anything unless it's in a jar and has an expiration date on it. It doesn't make it past 2 weeks.
Now the other thing I'd be looking for is kombucha, because that would tell me that they're also into yoga, which means they're flexible. So
there you go. Yeah, well, some people. How do you drink that shit? That stuff is nasty.
I've had some good stuff, so
I can't do that. So I would look mostly for ingredients. For me, it'd be produce, freshness, clean refrigerator. I would look like that, and I can tell you for sure, My wife's not that person because I do all the cooking for her.
Okay.
I remember when we were dating, she was going to college and I was meeting her for lunch and dinner. And her roommates, she had two roommates at the time. They decided they were going to have a party at their apartment and have some of us guys over. One of them was dating a baseball player, and Annette was dating me, and then this other girl had another guy coming over. So they were going to have a party at their house. So I'm thinking, oh, this is kind of cool. You get kind of an idea to see women in action in the kitchen. Well, dude, it was unbelievable. They had takeout boxes. They went and got chips and salsa from I think Casa Olay, and they didn't put it in bowls with styrofoam containers, that type thing.
Oh yeah.
So I told her, well, you got anything to drink in the fridge? She goes, well, I don't know, go take a look. So I went in the refrigerator and I opened the bottom produce bin, and these big shoots of potato vine just popped up out of the produce bin.
Oh my God. They
had potatoes in there so long, I swear to God, the vines were like 14 inches long. It was just like growing.
Oh my God. Yeah,
the spuds were growing in her refrigerator.
Wow.
Yeah, it was that
science
bad.
Experiment.
Yeah, science experiment for sure. And they completely forgot they had potatoes in the refrigerator type thing. So that's my wife's culinary kind of legacy.
I can't say. So my ex-girlfriend, she would have, if she had this app and I had to base it off of what she had in her fridge, she was by far one of the most efficient grocery shoppers. Mm-hmm. Because whatever she bought, she was using right away. So when you looked in her fridge, there would be there might be like some fruit here and there, but everything got cooked up like right away. And the thing about leftovers is, leftovers for her was just something that she gives to Sam.
Right, there you go.
Here, take this home. You can have it for your lunch.
So what's the worst thing you'd find in her fridge? What would make you just say, okay, I'm just swiping to the right, getting away from this one? I'm thinking a diaphragm, maybe.
In the fridge?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I can tell you a story behind that. Yeah. we had an employee kitchen at a place I worked.
Wow. No,
and we were, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I could say something, but I don't think this is the show for this.
Right.
So.
Yeah. So, I went in there and I was going to get yogurt of all things. All things I had in the fridge, and I opened this container and it was a diaphragm in the container, and I'm like,
this has to be a joke.
It's gotta be. But no. I was, and the girl's like, oh yeah, I keep it in the refrigerator. I'm thinking to myself, okay, I'm not even gonna ask because it's in a workplace, you know what I mean? It's just a good place to get gunned down. But so that would be, I guess, moldy food would be a big turn off for me. Things like mildew or mold. Maybe some kind of personal thing that's in the fridge chilling, waiting for use later might be something I'd be a little concerned about.
Now, we, Todd and I used to work at this one place, and there was a Vietnamese dude that we worked on, or worked with.
Right.
And he was notorious for bringing in like fish this, fish that.
Oh yeah. Ooh.
So when he would go to, now taste wise, this food that he was bringing, it was very, very good.
Right.
But
leave it in the fridge for a day or two.
Leave it in the fridge, or just take it out and put it in the microwave and cook it, and this odor just fills the entire floor.
Fish is that way.
I remember when I was overseas. So when we were in Afghanistan, our DFAC every once in a while would have fish there. Now, I like fish. I grew up eating fish.
Sure.
So I had the command staff I was under, they all despised fish. And let me know every single time they smelled it that they had, I would have to eat outside the beat-off.
Oh, I bet.
Because they did not want that fish penetrating anywhere in there.
So I'm the same guy. I mean, so my wife loves canned tuna. See, when you say tuna to me, I'm thinking mahi. I'm thinking of a nice fillet of tuna.
I can eat
chicken
of the sea.
Yeah, well, that's what she likes, the chicken of the sea stuff really well. And so that stuff like lingers. It just stinks up the whole kitchen. But anyway, Yeah. So yeah, I mean, you know, I don't know how successful this dating app is going to be. I hope that nobody's invested in this because I just don't see it lasting very long. Because first of all, you know, who's gonna who stays at home long enough to cook in these you know, to have food in their fridge? I mean, most people nowadays they're on the road eating, and how many people actually cook a dinner for their date?
Yeah, nowadays,
you know, because a safe place to meet would be in a bar, right, or a restaurant.
You don't want to bring strangers home.
Yeah, so I don't know. Best of luck to this guy. Hopefully it works out for him, but I just don't see it being around very long.